So there's a lot of different kind of ways of addressing this need. But one of the biggest examples that you can look at is all of this has kind of come to a head in the last few years. The answer seems to be the web. And if you look at it, you can see one of the reasons is a tremendous amount of explosion in the growth in the web. Started out very small, and now it's been just, it's very, very pervasive. So, you know, why is the web, why is this the answer? Why do we feel that we've kind of come to the point where we see that we have an answer for delivering an education remotely? One of the things is it's one application. That's always made a difference. If you look at CDC years ago had something called, I think it was Play-Doh. A lot of places have had different kind of electronic solutions, but that you had to learn a new technology each time. And when it's no longer being supported or it's no longer being updated, you kind of have to relegate it to the past. The new thing that is making a difference with the web is that it's almost a living organism that is continually updating itself. One of the things that's also really key is you want to be able to create content once and deploy it many different times. And that makes a tremendous amount of difference if you can use it in a variety of different ways. And a lot of these ways are you can use it in digital libraries. You can store it and review it on an as-needed basis. You can deliver it to a classroom environment 24 hours a day. Corporations can take the same curriculum and deliver it through their intranet to their employees. You can reuse the information in institutions, and I'll give you a few examples of how that's being done. And ultimately into the home. And there's quite a growing market for curriculum requirements in the home. One of the reasons the kind of CD syndrome never took off is the minute you got the stamp on that package and you mailed it out, the information was down level. And how did you update it? You either had to cut a new CD or you had to just live with the errors. I guess that can also happen in textbooks. The minute you print it on, you put the word on the page, it immediately needs to be modified. The good thing about the web is you can deploy it anywhere you want, but you can centrally manage it. So you can continually update the information, and whenever somebody else comes in and accesses the information, it's current. And that is probably one of the things that's been really key to the success in this movement. The other thing is content's king. When have we ever lived in a time that we've had so much access to so much of the world's knowledge? It's free. I mean, if you look at the things that you can go in and do, you can do financial planning on the web, you can shop on the web, you can download games on the web. It's a tremendous amount of information that has never really been available at the kind of click of a mouse. So that's the web, the content's there, so that's it, have a great day. But just because you have the content and just because you have the connectivity and the pipe bringing it into you, that's really not it. Somebody needs to sit and create a meaningful learning experience out of all this content. I mean, if you spend any time trying to search for something on the web, it doesn't take long for you to get kind of totally lost in your shorts. It's very, very easy to just find so much content. How can you validate it as correct? How do you know that you're going down the right path? So you need to have an expert. You need somebody to create a true learning experience. How much feedback do you need? How much reading should be done? I'm sure this is the same type of question that happened when universities were set up. Should it all be, how much study time should you use? How much, time should you spend in the library? How much time should you be writing? And all of this process is now going through and applying to the web. It also needs to be compelling. The information needs to be enticing enough that the student, who's not necessarily sitting in a class, will continue to go through the process. So it needs to be media rich, and that's part of it. You also need some feedback, so you need to measure it. You need to, are you learning anything? Are you paying any attention? Are you there? You need some sort of feedback to know when your student is learning. And a lot of studies show, there's a lot of studies out, a lot of attention has been put on this topic. But studies show that if the experience is not just reading, but it's a mix of medias, that the retention is at a very high level. It increases it. You can also use this material to compress the learning time. This, of course, is very important to corporations. They would like to have access to it, to curriculum, because their students, being employees, don't necessarily have the time to sit in class. But if they can walk through the material, they can maybe compress the learning time. So you can use this process to maybe continue the learning process on a quicker than a quarters basis, which creates all sorts of interesting situations in universities. And also, one of the things that I've talked to a couple of universities are looking at taking a topic such as physics and creating the course of physics, which you walk through the course of physics. You just take it step by step, and it's not physics 101 and going to upper division class, going to a master's and going to a PhD. It's the whole topic, and you go through the topic and just kind of build on the foundation. You move to the next step as soon as you have understand the principles of the one step you've gone through. We're a ways away from this, but this is something that a lot of institutions are starting to look at. How can you change this learning paradigm? So what are the components that you have in a learning experience? One is the web page, obviously HTML. The written word is still very powerful. You have the ability to link to the free resources around the world. Video, there's sometimes the spoken word is more powerful than the written word. Sometimes somebody who has a tremendous amount of passion about a topic can talk about it in great depth using video, where you may not get that passion reading or when they're writing. You need to be able to communicate. Communication is still very important, which I think is a relief to everybody. And chat rooms and talking to a professor is a mechanism to use that. And you need that powerful feedback. Are the students understanding it? Are they passing their tests? Have they learned anything? So you might ask, so why SGI? So why are we here? Don't we just, create special effects of the movies? I mean, aren't you in the business of creating dinosaurs or blowing up Paris? And in fact, we are involved in a lot of those businesses, but I want to step back and talk a bit about who we are. We are a multinational company, and we have a lot of employees, and a lot of offices around the world, and it's not going to come up now, so much for technology. Oops, wait a minute, it is now one of those really slow things. Anyway, well, that's not important. Oh, I see what it is. Okay, so we were founded in '82. We're a $3 billion company. We have 9,000 employees, offices, manufacturing. So we're a multinational company. But more importantly, where are we focusing our resources? If you are familiar with Silicon Graphics, as we were known before in SGI, you probably are aware that we get about 98% of our press from our participation in the entertainment market. In fact, if you look at it, it's not a big percentage of our business. They are technology drivers. They're very demanding, because their goal is to be able to create everything in a computer-generated images. But in fact, it's only about 7% of our business. Our biggest piece of the business is manufacturing. If you've been kind of looking or been associated with the manufacturing industry, in the last few years, they're going digital big time. They're doing a lot of global design. They're doing virtual prototyping. They're doing virtual testing. And they need to use systems where you can use real-time graphics and be able to create images. Our third largest market that we're in, there's government. That's kind of, we merged with Cray, and so there's a lot of kind of secret work that's done with the U.S. government that I can't talk about because they haven't told me anything. But whatever it is, we do quite a bit of business in that. But the third largest market we're in is universities. And kind of like, why are we in that business? Mainly because a lot of research is being done in universities. So one of the things that kind of brings us to distance learning is kind of goes back to the entertainment business. We were involved in a project called Time Warner. Time Warner had a video-on-demand project in Orlando, Florida a number of years ago, and we provided the technology for them. They kind of decided that the time wasn't right and they were going to pull out of the business, but what we were left with was an understanding of how to handle streaming video through a number of different type of pipelines, small ones, big ones, how to compress, decompress the video. And we came out with a product, which we'll talk about in just a second, which is called Mediabase. And we also have scalable servers. So once you start creating digital content, you've got to serve it, you got to store it, and you need to be able to handle that easily. And you don't want to, after you get a large library of material, you don't want to have to continually go in and do a forklift update, which is kind of throwing away the old stuff and bringing the new stuff in. So scalability is really important. But one of the pieces that we have is Mediabase, and Mediabase is it's an award-winning software package. It's the #1 streaming video product on the market right now, and it's used to do interactive, real-time, high-quality video. It's very scalable, so a lot of universities are using real audio and real video products. This is an embedded piece of our product, but you're also able to scale up to MPEG 1 and MPEG 2. What this product allows you to do is capture the highest quality video, and you need to, if you're going to invest the time in doing video and creating content, you want to make sure that it's the highest quality that you can with the technology that's available now, because you don't want to have to continually recreate your content. Content is very, very important to you. It's very scalable. It's an intelligent streaming product. It allows you, it'll store many different types of industry standards, and it'll tell by your network which asset to pull out and to serve to your clients. So it's a very intuitive product. It allows you to do one of the things that is being done here, I believe, webcasting. So you can create, you can sit and take a look at the same time as an event's happening. You can review the event later, or you can schedule it into a university. So it allows you to do all of these things. At the same time, the product is a web-based management tool, and it's being used for video libraries, digital libraries. So how did we kind of get into this business? Well, the team, the product division that manages this product, they created it for the entertainment industry. And that's all they were focusing on, is the entertainment industry. They noticed that 50% of all the licenses being sold were being sold to universities. So they kind of asked the question, so like, what are you guys doing with it? So we started calling around, like, what are you doing with this product? We talked to the University of Beijing. They had a contract with their telecom, and they were flooding their network in Beijing to see how much data could be put down their network before it rolled over. So I kind of thought that's kind of a point solution, that all universities can't be doing that. So we started calling a few others. One of them was Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins, their Digital Knowledge Center, which is in their library, was doing a project called the Muse Journal, and this was an online journal using video. And they had they bought the minimum package of Mediabase, and they only used one of the 100 streams, and they opened the rest of the streams up to anybody who wanted to come in and use it. 6 months later, they found that their professors were creating digital content, video content, and delivering it through the web to their students. And so at this point, this library is now the center for distance learning, which not all universities have done that, but they were so fascinated with the project, they went out and hired a curriculum development person to assist these professors to create digital content. Another example of this we called CALI in Pomona. It's kind of in the valley, in kind of San Bernardino Valley, a little bit north of that. They were buying terabytes of storage. And so we kind of went down to say, what are you buying all of this video? Why are you buying all this storage equipment for? And they had created a network called MediaVision, and they were just capturing classrooms. So they had a camera in every classroom, and they were just capturing the professors' interaction. There was, a static camera. If the professor walked away from the camera, you could hear their voice, but you couldn't see them. So it was kind of a low-tech solution. And they were storing it. And the reason they did this is Cal Poly is kind of a commuter's college. They have a lot of students that don't reside on campus. And they were finding that student retention was an issue because they would miss a class, they'd miss 2 classes, they'd feel that, well, we better drop out because we've lost our continuity. And they said, well, we'll just provide the classrooms on video, and we'll serve that to you over the web. And any place on campus you can go, they have labs and libraries. You can sit at a kiosk and you can capture the class. So they started, it was pretty low tech and it wasn't high quality, but they found out that the students were using this and they were using it very, very frequently. So they decided that maybe they should start capturing a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit higher quality product. So they actually created more of at some classes they actually used a studio, and they made an effort to make it more of a classroom where you could actually see the whiteboard. The teacher used a whiteboard, and actually created more of a learning environment. It started out really pretty much as a proof of concept. It was not something. It was not a business model. Somebody didn't sit down and say, we're going to make money on this." But after they created a number of classes, Los Angeles School District contacted them and said, we have a lot of students that are very bright. We would like to start offering them college curriculum. Can we start using some of your curriculum? If you have, classes, like a chemistry class, we would like to purchase the curriculum. So all of a sudden they found themselves kind of in the curriculum development and delivery business. And that, in fact, is kind of an offshoot of what they're doing. The person who's created this project is now looking at how to create the curriculum, high-quality curriculum that can be used through a lot of the Cal State campuses. So there's a consortium where they are going to exchange curriculum. If you have an expert in one topic sitting at one university, why not let him teach a topic that he's very passionate about and have him teach at all the campuses? They're also delivering, they're in a nonprofit organization that's delivering curriculum to West Africa. They're using microwave dishes, they're uploading it, downloading it, and everybody has to go to the one place that has the technology that can deliver it. But they're offering kind of a world-class curriculum into an environment that doesn't often get access to this type of curriculum. And they're also helping schools now. They're kind of out evangelizing this. They're also out offering curriculum. They've been approached by a couple of TV stations. I guess to get an FCC license, you have to have a certain percentage of educational content. And one of these kind of new television stations, desperate to get their FCC license, came in and just bought the lot. They didn't care what it was. Let's just take it. Just give it. We just need it. So they actually have ended up with a little bit of a revenue stream. But one of the other things that we kind of snuck up on us were digital libraries. Once you get, one class that's distance learning, you get 2 of them. It's distance learning and it's a digital library. Somebody's got to manage the curriculum. When you end up with the Cal Poly environment, they have hundreds of classes now, and managing and serving that is no longer just a curriculum development problem. It's a digital library. And we have found out over the years that we've been involved in a number, it wasn't something we kind of targeted and went out, but we found out that we were involved in a number of digital libraries. One of the largest video-wise is the Shoah project, which is owned by, is a project funded by Spielberg. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This is where he's gone out and interviewed victims of the Holocaust. He felt that, that these people were going to disappear and their story would be told. It's being served out of servers in LA, and it's being fed live into Washington D.C., Jerusalem, and New York. Now, the thing that's also interesting about it is this has also become a research tool. Universities have access to this material. It's 3 terabytes of data, but universities are now getting access to it. So it's becoming a research tool that can be used by institutions. Monash University, that's in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. That is the repository of all of the Australian Royal Archive, Royal Film Archive. And Australia, I don't know if you know, has always been very much into creating their own movies. And there was a tremendous resource, a film that nobody could touch. In fact, it was sometimes igniting spontaneously in storage. And the government was very, very concerned that they were going to lose this wonderful resource they had. So they went in and they digitized it. It's sitting in Monash, which is a state institution, university, and you can now access, anybody can access this material where in the past nobody could get their hands on it. They're also in projects to deliver film appreciation classes to high schools in the area, and they've put high-speed networks between themselves and a number of high schools. UMI, probably never heard of UMI. UMI is the Lexus and Nexus of university data. It's kind of in the same type of business. It's in Michigan, and it buys scholarly documents, digitizes them, and makes them accessible to research institutions. And they are not using video. They are doing web-based digital library type content. So it's written pages. So it's not really citing, but it's good research material and journals that are not accessible to everybody. And you subscribe to it and you can get access to them. And they're storing and delivering that material. The Peruvian Congress thought that all the citizens would want to know what happened on a daily basis in the Senate. So they filmed everything and they put it on the website. I don't know if that's been, they're very proud of themselves. I don't know if the citizens are using the material, but if they want to get access to it, they have the ability to do that. There's a lot of chemistry databases. There are, Rutgers University was just given the, I think it's a tissue, it'll be the largest tissue banks. And what they're doing is digitizing the material, and it'll be accessible to biologists around the world who can subscribe and participate in it. The University of Utah is doing graphics images and storing it and delivering it, making it accessible. National Library of Singapore. I don't know if any of you know much about Singapore. Not a big place. It's about this big. It's a very wired. It's fiber to the home. So they believe education is very, very important, and they want everybody to have 24-hour access to educational material. And they're creating curriculum and delivering it to the home. So it's a very, very aggressive, very enlightened project, but of course it's kind of it's a little bit of a microcosm in the delivery. And then there's Texas A&M, which I'm going to touch briefly on. So Texas A&M has had a vision that they were going to go in and create a library that would meet everybody's needs. And the university wanted a centrally managed resource. So what happens if you have a department that they get a grant from NSF, they go out and buy a big system, they put a lot of resources in it, then another department gets money, they go do the same thing. And the feeling with the president of Texas A&M is that a lot of money was being spent replicating an asset among the different departments. He wanted to centralize the resource